Ohayo gozaimasu. Welcome back to another video. Today we have something a little bit special. I'm going to be talking about what I want to do with my future home. Now this video is going to be a little bit different from most of my other videos. If you've been keeping up with the channel, you'd know that I'm going to be moving to Tokyo in the next couple of weeks. I know it seems like it's been going on for a while, but the whole process has taken a very long time, and I'm finally getting to the stage where, as you can see behind me, we're starting to pack everything. All of the furniture is slowly disappearing, and we are going to be making the big move next week from the date that I'm filming this video. Yeah, I'm definitely going to miss this place. Australia, Sydney in particular, has been my home for 27 years. I've had such a great time growing up, becoming myself as an adult, and I really think that the culture and just my surroundings, my friend groups, my family that have been here have really guided me to become who I am today, and I don't think that would have happened if I was in a different country. Sydney is very special. I am extremely lucky to have grown up here, and yeah, I will never forget it. I've always had the idea that I want to try living in Japan. This is something that I want to do before I get too old, have too many responsibilities, or get tied down to one place, because I may regret it, but then I would never know if I never did it. So this timing was just absolutely perfect, because thankfully with my social media content and my freelance work, I now have the option to travel overseas and to work more remotely or from where I am, which is really a blessing. And I think that I've been working on this for quite a while, just, you know, being consistent with social media and growing my accounts and working with brands, which has been just absolutely amazing. Definitely a dream come true. And I'm quite aware that I'm very lucky to be in this situation. But because I am also in this situation, I want to take advantage of that. And that's why I'm moving to Tokyo specifically. My girlfriend Minji, she also really wants to try living there, and she encouraged me to make that decision. And without her encouragement, I definitely wouldn't have pushed it on her or done it without her. Yeah, it's a pretty big deal. We are getting rid of everything here, and the only things we're keeping is like some clothing, memorabilia, and yeah, it's just a lot. To be honest, the last few months have started to really feel very real. I'm honestly quite tired just from the whole process, and yeah, I can't wait to be over there. I've also had a lot of people asking if I'm bringing Gachi, our cat. Yes, of course, we're going to be bringing Gachi. The moving process to bring animals overseas from Australia to any other country is a little bit strict. Australia is very strict with their rules here, but there is a process, and with that we have been very diligent trying to get that organized. And yeah, so we're going to bring Gachi over. Hopefully it isn't too scary for him. I'm a little bit anxious about bringing him over the plane, but yeah, it should be okay. And once he settles in a little bit, I'm sure he's going to feel more comfortable. There's going to be more room, more area for him to play around in, and yeah, so that is essentially my reasoning for moving to Tokyo. This is a very big deal in my life, in my late 20s. I'm very excited, and I'm also very eager to create more content. I think situating myself in Tokyo is going to enable me to create things that I like creating. I don't know, every time I'm over there, I just feel really inspired. Everything kind of feels more aesthetic than Sydney, not gonna lie, in a different way. It's its own thing, but I feel very inspired when I'm over there to create stuff. And I know eventually I'm gonna settle in and it's gonna feel like it's going to be my home, I hope. But until then, I'm probably gonna feel very frantic making things and yeah, growing the channel, bringing you guys along, and I'm just overall very keen. Now let's talk about the future home. I wanted to sit down and discuss this with you because I have gathered a pretty extensive mood board of items that I want to implement into my new place, and yeah, we should just get right into it, I think. I'm going to save the photos and the videos of the place. I'm just going to say that it's a beautiful space, and I think there is a lot of potential, and I'm very excited. I want to mention that a lot of the images I'm about to show are screenshots from Instagram and Pinterest saves that I've had over the last, I don't know, a couple of years. And unfortunately, I don't have everybody's tags. So I'm extremely sorry if I use your image without your permission. Sorry. Now, bedrooms are a very cozy and safe space. And for my new bedroom, I wanted to create a very light and welcoming feeling. My biggest inspiration for the bedroom mood board is a person called David on Instagram. He's got a very beautiful slanted roof wall kind of style bedroom that I really do think is really welcoming. It's got warm wood tones, it's got blue, which is my favorite color, and then this mixture of wood, soft materials, and stainless steel is honestly, it's just the vibe that I want to go for. So he is my biggest inspiration here. Now, as I wanted to emulate something similar to this, a lot of the items here have a light wood tone. Muji is a staple brand in Japan that I'm probably going to rely quite a lot on for a lot of my items in the house, and the bed is no different. They've got a solid wood bed frame that is minimal in design, and you can attach different things to it to customize it for your own self. You can adjust the height of the bed frame as you can purchase different sized feet, legs. I like this because I want to create a low-rise bed and kind of have everything in the bedroom low to the ground, just to create a bigger, grander feeling in the bedroom, making the illusion of the ceilings being higher. You can get a headboard attachment with the bed, which is kind of practical because you don't want your pillows to be like falling between the wall and your bed, but I'm not too sure if I'm going to do this straight away just because it is a little bit of an expensive piece and I can live without it. Now, to go with the bed, of course, there's going to be the Muji mattress, which is actually very comfortable. It's quite a solid feeling mattress, and yeah, after sleeping on it for a little bit, my sister and my mum also have it, so I've tried it out. But using it for a little while, they've said it's great. I've slept on their bed like a couple of times, and yeah, I really like the solid feeling to it. I think it's definitely something worth investing into. Now, the key here is the bed sheets. Now, this is where you can really go very expensive, or you could be a little bit more budget. And I've kind of selected a few items here that have a similar feeling in different price ranges. For a nice blue colored bed sheet, I have come across the most perfect, beautiful, cozy and comfortable set from Tekla. The light blue and white pinstriped bedding set is just so pretty. It's very cute, and I really would like to purchase it. However, it is about $700, which for bed sheets, it does seem quite a lot. So I have found an alternative. There is a company called Sheet Society. They make a similar tonal blue with dark blue stripes, and it has a very similar vibe. It's not as light because the stripes are dark blue compared to white, but I think the overall vibe is very neat, and it is half the price, which is a big deal. I also know a brand called Homey, Homey. They also sell bedding products, they sell towels, etc. I think they have some pretty nice items too. So now, I have been a big fan of the IKEA Kvanenvenen ergonomic pillow. Now, this is a pillow that has two sides. There's a cool touch side, which actually feels really nice. It feels really good. There's different heights, so you can rest your head on it at different levels for the most comfortable sleep. I have one of these. Minji, she steals it all the time, so we're gonna get two of them so she doesn't steal my pillow. And yeah, that's probably my bedding setup. Now, not a necessity, but something I do want to get in the future is a rug. This is something that I think is going to warm up the whole room and tie it all together. I like the idea of a beige rug. The one I have under my feet right here is by Firm Living. I do really like the color. However, I wouldn't mind getting something a little bit bigger. Rugs are something that I'm not too sure about, so if you guys can recommend me a brand or a company that produces rugs, I'll be in Tokyo, so something local could be nice. Please let me know. I'm super excited to do a little bit more research into this because I don't want to rush any of my decisions. I am happy to wait for the right item and pay the right price for the right item. Let me know. For side tables, I have already gotten in contact with a brand called Kismas Studios. They create a beautiful stainless steel table set. They've got a little stool option as well, and they've graciously offered to send one out to me. So thank you very much. Arigatou gozaimasu. I'll showcase that in the new house when I unbox it and set it up. I'm very excited because I like the stainless steel hints to rooms. I don't want to overdo the stainless steel because I think it can make your room feel very like cold and not inviting. But in little hints, I think it works really well because it juxtaposes a lot of the warmer wood materials and kind of creates a balance, especially if I was to put a lamp on it that emits like a warm orange hue. Yeah, it softens the cold metal feeling. Now, my bedroom and office studio both have inbuilt shelving, which is going to be very, very handy. However, in the bedroom, I do want to get another piece of shelf. Minji came across an IKEA custom piece. It's called the Platsa, IKEA Platsa It's essentially low-res shelves, very simple, white color. And the image that she came across had these custom knobs that were just drilled in. And I think that's such a cute idea because there is a whole world of different custom doorknobs. I want to spend some time, find some options, and either have them as uniform or have little different custom doorknob pieces that complement each other and they have like a different little feeling. I think that's a very unique and like, yeah, it adds character to the room. It's something a little bit custom, but it comes at a cheaper price, especially because it's IKEA. I think that this is just going to work well in the room. It's an affordable piece. It's going to give a little bit of character and it's functional as well. Now, throughout the house, one thing that I'm not too sure yet is what blinds that I'm going to use. I've got a few different options and it's essentially just Venetian blinds. There's either going to be like a white color or a wooden tone color. I like the idea of both. I think the wooden brings a little bit of warmth. The white is a little bit cleaner. And yeah, I think I'm just going to have to see when I get there and make that decision. But I'm also considering the idea of sheer curtains as well. This is going to create like a more soft and diffused lighting situation when the sunlight comes through. It's going to feel a little bit calmer, I think, but I really do like the idea of horizontal Venetian blinds. Now we're going to move over towards the living room and the kitchen. Now, just for reference, this is one room. It's like a long rectangle. We've got the kitchen at one end and then, yeah, the living room, I guess, is just technically a part of that. So first thing we want to do is kind of create separation between the kitchen and the living space. We want to do this by introducing a middle island shelf just next to the kitchen. So it creates a little bit of a barrier, a boundary, if you want to say, between the living space and the kitchen space. Not only is this island bench going to set boundaries, it's also going to be a practical cutting surface when we're cooking or perhaps setting up like a coffee set or something. I was initially considering a Muji sus shelf, something similar to what I have in the background, but for a kitchen top, a countertop, I think it's a little bit wobbly. It does shift side to side a little bit unless you have a lot of weight on it, but we came across some commercial options. Now these are for actual kitchens. I think they're a lot more sturdy and they're not too expensive. So we're going to try to find something that works for us, implement that. And yeah, I'm very excited to see how that kind of turns out. I am very excited to do a lot of shopping in Japan for kitchenware. You've probably seen videos on Instagram of people picking up like Japan kitchen haul. There's just so many streets full of shops that sell kitchen equipment, pots, pans, utensils, like just random objects that have like a very specific function. I'm just very excited for that. I don't know what I'm going to find exactly, but yeah, there's going to be a lot of things. Now, as we're going to be renting the place, I can't drill holes in anything. So I think a lot of magnetic options for kitchen storage is going to be very handy. For example, a dishwashing rack that hooks underneath of a shelf. I think that's a pretty smart option if it works out. We have to finesse it a little bit, so things like that will come in clutch. Now, moving on to the living room, I think this is where a majority of the big purchase options are going to come in. You know, you've got your dining tables, you've got your couch, lounge setups, and there is a lot here. Let me break it down. Now, as a more value option, I think I do want to find a lot of vintage items in Japan. However, that's going to take a lot of time and I can't guarantee what I'm going to get. So I can't necessarily tell you what I want to get exactly, but I can show you the mood board or how I want to construct the living space. I want to get a dining table, but I don't want to get something that is too big, too much of a presence in the space. I don't want it to feel overbearing. So I've come across a dining table option from Journal Standard. This is their furniture selection. They've got a table called the Porto Dining Table. Now this is a solid wood option. It's got a very organic shape, I want to say, as it's got rounded edges and it seats 4, I think 5 technically. This is a pretty fun option. I think it can sit against the wall and it won't feel too overbearing. Like it's not going to be sitting in the middle of the living room. Now, as much as I don't want to rush big purchases, I'm also going to need a few items. Like I'll need a table. I'm working on my laptop all the time. I can go to cafes and I can bear working on the floor, but I definitely do need something solid to work on, whether it just be a cheaper table or a bigger table. Now, I don't want to go down the route of purchasing something really like just for the time being and then getting rid of it. I don't want to do that. I find that it's a little bit of a waste knowing that I'm going to get rid of an object. So I want to try to be as intentional as possible with that kind of stuff. So having a dining table
already set, like this could be a good option. I'm not guaranteed to buy this, but I do want to go check it out in person. I think it could be a nice option. For the main living room area, I do want to get a couch situation with a little table and a rug. There's a couch option I've come from Muji that comes in a 2 and 3 seater option. It's a very minimal and slim design, which I think is quite nice. It's going to not create an obstructive feeling. It doesn't have armrests, so I think it will keep the space feeling quite open. And yeah, the solid wood option color here is, I think, probably the right shade of wood to go with the floors and everything. Since we're starting from scratch, I really want to put emphasis on this before we make any purchases. I want people to gravitate towards the couch, the low-rise table, have a little area there where it feels very comfortable to just sit down. And to achieve this, I need a few things, like a rug is another option. Please, again, if there are any options that you recommend, brands, let me know in the comments. I'm very curious. And to accompany that, I've got other things written down like Snow Peak cushions. I have one here personally. I think it's really fun because they fold in half, they can store, they look cute. There's an orange and a green version, and it's essentially a camping version of a zabuton, which is like a Japanese cushion that you put on the floor and you sit on it. It's very comfortable. Having that kind of scenario with my friends, my family, we're all sitting around the living room area on the floor and on the couch. It's nice. I don't want to have the couch feeling too high so that when you sit on it, you're looking down on people. I want it to be when you're sitting on it, you're still not eye level, but it's very similar to the people sitting on the floor as well. Now for the table, I'm actually thinking of getting a round Snow Peak camping table. Camping table might seem a little bit weird, but Snow Peak crafts their items with high quality. They have a very good finish, and you can just honestly use them indoors as well. I think that the items look very nice. This is a Snow Peak single auction table. It's a low-rise table. I think this will be a fun option because I do like going camping as well. So in the future, when I do want to go camping, I can bring this along. And that's also going to be similar to camping chairs. Snow Peak makes some really nice camping chairs. My friend Ryan has a few. And yeah, I think this will just be a nice option to get as well. There are shops dedicated to selling secondhand camping, fishing gear, a whole lot of outdoor accessories. You can find these at like at least half price. So even though Snow Peak has a very premium price tag, you can definitely find them for a good price. And that's what I'm going to try to do.
Okay, I just realized that the audio on this microphone was not recording for a very long time. Damn, that's really annoying. But okay, well, let's keep going. I think I was talking about the pendant light situation in the room. Let me just reiterate. So in a lot of newer Japanese homes, mine included, it's very interesting because the light fixture on the roof, you can easily take off the fixtures and replace them with different things. So in my case, it's going to be very handy. I've got pendant lights that I want to bring over. I used to have one right here, but we took it down. Of course, we're going to be moving, and it's in my suitcase somewhere, and I want to install this into the place. I think that this is just going to also warm up the whole vibe. I want to get another one for over the kitchen area. Maybe a different style, not really a paper lamp shade. Maybe something more ceramic. I've done a little research into lighting fixtures as well, but if you've got any recommendations, your favorite options, let me know in the comments. Yeah, I think in living room spaces, it is easy to overdo it and to add too many items. And with this, it clutters the area. It doesn't feel as open. And yeah, looking at the mood board images, that is something that I definitely want to achieve, a nice open feeling. Now, depending on the placement of the couch, this may or may not work, but I like the idea of having low-rise shelving at the same height or a little bit lower than the couch itself and putting it behind it, because the back of a couch usually isn't that aesthetic. Depends on the couch, of course, but for instance, the Muji couch is just a slab of wood, which it looks cool, but if you were to have that facing an open area, it definitely has a blocky feeling. So adding a practical element like a low-rise shelf behind it not only allows you to put items behind the couch, like if you're just sitting relaxing on the couch and you got a coffee, you can like put it behind you and you can put it on the shelf. I think that's very, very handy. And also you can obviously just like fill the shelf up with different items, books, things that you want to showcase. And yeah, I like the option here. It may or may not work, like I said, depending on the placement of the couch, but yeah, it could be fun. Now, of course, Gachi, he is my housemate as well, my little cat. So we want to get some things for him. We really like this cat tower right here. This we bought from Amazon, and there are a lot of different options, but the good thing is it is height adjustable and has a very clean look. We definitely want to have one of these, maybe prop it up near a window so Gachi can relax, sit in the bowl, maybe look out into the open world and have something to stare at. We want him to feel as comfortable as possible, so bringing in similar items to what he's already used to or have seen. It's not going to be this exact one, but it will be something similar. So hopefully he can recognize it and understand what its purpose is without having to relearn how to climb it and all of that. And as much as I want to keep the house aesthetic and looking really nice, there are just things that we need to get that are not as aesthetic. Cat litter boxes, scratching towers, all of these things are items that, we just need. And that's a compromise that I'm super happy to make, because as much as I want to keep everything clean and looking beautiful so I can film, make content, living in it, it's a home. And it's not just me, it's Minji, it's Gachi as well. And I want it to feel practical. It's a real place, it's not a showroom. So I need to keep that in mind as well. Now let's talk about the home office. This is something that I'm super excited about, because I will have my own studio, my own little office. When searching for a place to live in, that was one of the things I really wanted to do. I wanted to get a separate room where I could have my desk set up, have my camera gear organized so that I'm not intruding on another space. I didn't want this situation to happen again, where I've got my desk in the living room, I've got all my camera gear also here, so when I'm trying to relax, I can visibly see all of my work in the corner, and it's not the best feeling. I do want to create that feeling of separation. Now, first thing I want to talk about here is the blinds situation. I didn't know that the world of blinds was this big. There are so many different options, they create so many different effects, and I am honestly just a little bit confused in what to do. My first initial thoughts was sheer curtains or Venetian blinds, until I came across something called a honeycomb blind. Now, honeycomb blinds essentially work similar to an accordion. They are compressed, and as you stretch them taller, the blinds expand and more light is let through. I've seen this set up in a few little situations here, and I think it has such a unique and interesting look. You can adjust the honeycomb so it's not fully covering the window, but only partial, so you can still see outside, which I think is a very interesting concept. It looks very, visually, just what's going on here? I was so confused when I first saw this image. It might not be the most practical. I'm going to have to see in person how this works, but it could be a fun option. As I have a whole room, I have options in the placement of my working desk. Initially, I was thinking keeping the space open, having it on a wall, but then I got to thinking that I've never had a desk in the middle of the room. Something where the room revolves around the desk, I can have shelving behind it. This is just something that I've played with the idea in my head. I don't know how it's actually going to turn out, because I think at the end of the day, it depends on which desk I end up getting. Now, this is the hardest part for me, because I don't know what working desk I want to get. I've had a standing desk in the past. I've been working on this really slim desk from IKEA recently. And I think in general, I just want something practical, big, where I could have perhaps more than one monitor for a co-working space. Do you have any recommendations that you'd make for a working desk? Something with a wooden top, perhaps? Perhaps it will be custom made, where you just buy a big slab of wood and then attach legs to it? Or what do you guys think? I want to have my camera gear very accessible and easy to just find and use, create a charging station, and just have a shelving situation that is just set dedicated for that. I was looking at IKEA options, which are a lot more affordable. I was also thinking about Muji Sus shelf options, which have a very slim, sleek design, similar to, the shelving behind me. I'm familiar with it. Overall, I don't think there is going to be one correct option here. The only thing I do want to keep in mind is that keeping it lower to the ground. I don't want anything too high. In particular, Japan, we have earthquakes, and this is something I need to be constantly thinking about when making purchases, because if I have a shelf that's too high and is unsupported, one big earthquake and all my shit might just fall off, and I don't want to deal with that. Now, there are a couple of specific items that I want to go through that I'm definitely excited to purchase. These, I think they just have a lot of character. They're a little bit more fun. The first thing I want to talk about is the Utensilo by Vitra. I love this piece. I've wanted it for a long time, and it comes in many different colors, and I want to make the investment this season. If I can manage to mount this to the wall, I really do think that this will add a pop of color, a bit of character, while also being functional. There are a lot of different utensils you can fit into the plastic holds. A different option that I've found is a stainless steel version, which I'm going to have to find the name for this because this could be very fun as well. I came across a very fun idea. It is essentially similar to the cat tower here, where it is a compression pole from the floor to ceiling, and on that compression pole you can just rig different items. I make content, I use lights like what I'm using right here all of the time, so I could low-key just attach those to the pole and use those as my practical lights while I'm actually working at my desk, as well as using them for filming. I think that is going to, kill two birds with one stone. Another option is getting something vintage, something with a pop of color. I like the idea of an architect lamp. This, you can, of course, buy many different varieties, different colors. They're also quite practical because you can just adjust where the lamp is going to sit. I also like the idea of having a soft diffused light, something a bit more simple. I had an IKEA lamp that was very practical, big source of light, and yeah, it also looked very clean. Could get one of those in the future again. One thing I'm 100% getting is the Apple Studio monitor. I have this right now. I'm about to get rid of it, unfortunately, but my plan is to just repurchase it in the future when I need it. It's just a very aesthetically nice looking monitor. It's very practical. It's got a great speaker system in it. And all in all, I need it for my work. So that is a non-negotiable. Now, to power all of the tools on my desk, something that I've found recently is really cool looking power sockets. In particular, I came across the brand Fargo. They create surge protection power boards that just have a very, very cool look. Of course, the power board world is very big apparently, and there are a lot of different options. You can get braided cables, you can get different material like bricks, different colors. The Fargo one in particular, I think it looks very, very sleek. It's like a steel looking thing. I feel like I'm probably going to invest in a few of these, put them around the house, and yeah, they're just really cool looking, I think. The EXTO 2 and 4 power cords, I believe Conway Electric make these, I could be wrong, but they have a very cool look. Braided cables, very custom looking power boards. It's almost like a little accessory in itself. I think that design is a very funny thing because people will create aesthetically looking pieces for the most mundane products, something that you just see every single day, but they'll make a fun variation on it. And yeah, I think that's a very fun concept. These are quite expensive, so I don't think I'm going to buy it. But yeah, the option is there. Now, I have air conditioning in all 3 of the rooms at the house, but I do want to get fans because it's not always you want the aircon on. And especially in summer, sometimes all you need is a little bit of airflow. That's what I've got going on right here. It's quite a hot day here in Sydney actually, but just with the fan, the air is flowing around the room and it's cooled down the place without having to use the air conditioning. I mentioned that I want to repurchase this fan here. This is the Muji 360 oscillating fan. I think it's a great creation that you can set up to blow air in 360 degrees, as the name suggests. And this just creates a lot of airflow in the room itself, and it's a very practical piece. However, as I started looking on Pinterest a little bit, I came across retro fans. Now, these retro fans typically have different colored blades. There'll be like a blue blade or a red blade. It'll be in like a stainless steel little body case. And I just think that these look really, really pretty. I really like the idea of this, and I think having a little retro hint to all of the rooms in my space might actually be quite nice. This is everything that I've got so far for the mood board at my new place. As you can probably tell, I'm very, very excited to do this justice, to do it right. And I want to bring you guys along with me. I assume that I would make home update style videos. I think that's going to be easy for me to make as well as very enjoyable. And yeah, if you're down to enjoy the journey, enjoy the ride, please subscribe, follow the channel. I typically make lifestyle content. This is a little bit random for me, to be honest, making a specific home updates video. But in the future, I'll probably fuse them together. And yeah, I'm just very, very excited. I assume that this video ended up being quite long, so thank you so much if you made it this far into the video, listening to me just yap about stuff that I like doing. And yeah, again, sorry about the audio issue. I think I'm going to make one more vlog here in Sydney before I leave. But yeah, today is about 7 days out from my flight, so things are going to wrap up real quick here. I hope you have a nice day, night, wherever you are, and thank you for watching the video. I'll see you next week.